Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you're at. This is Pastor Tom welcoming you to another study in the Word. I was going to go ahead and share, and I did my last session on the sinking of the Titanic ship, visions and dreams. I really didn't give any scripture, but through the Bible, many times God uses people through visions and dreams and even predictions of things. And I'm going to go ahead, because I've had people ask me about it. I'm going to give some of my predictions for what's going to happen here now. I had already told people, many of them, that there's, in my opinion, a major exposure coming. Everything's going to change. It's not going to be an easy time, but it's going to be a good time. Excuse me for a second. Excuse me. Oh my. Oh. Woo. Actually felt good. But I really have never sat down and kind of in detail went through some of the things that I feel I see is coming. Now, are you sure these things are going to happen? Well, I'm sure some of it's going to happen. How much of it, I don't know, and what exactly is exposed and so on, I don't really know how it's going to happen, but I do know some things that I believe that God has showed me. So these are my predictions. When it's going to happen, I don't know. This could be within a few months. This could be within a year or two. This could be within a generation. All right, I don't know. I do know that some of it will be ongoing, because it's impossible for some of the things I'm going to say to be done overnight. It's just impossible for it to happen that way. It's going to take some time. But anyway, the first thing I see is a major exposure, and I've talked about this before. When I say a major exposure, I'm talking about a major exposure about many, many different things. But right now I'm going to talk about COVID. It's already happening. This particular exposure is already starting, where we see Dr. Fauci and his emails and all this, and we see how corrupt these people have been, really clueless. I don't think they really believe that anybody can touch them. And I don't know his heart. I don't know what his affiliation with other people is, but I have a sense that he knows a lot. And I believe not only him, but Bill Gates and different people are tied up in this, maybe the guy from Facebook. And we're going to see an exposure about this is going to be far more than what we see right now. How it was planned, yes, it was planned. How it happened, yes, how it happened. And how a spirit of fear was released across the planet and the nation. And how this was used to try to bring America down, to destroy businesses, which it did. And there's just so much evil that came out of all this. The shutting down of the schools, people losing their livelihood and their businesses, fear. And, we're going to find out about a lot of this stuff. We're going to find out, I'm almost positive, about the inflated numbers of this, about how they inflated these numbers on COVID to the point to where it was criminal, literally criminal. I believe even inflated even to the point of where flu viruses and stuff that people had were called COVID. I'm serious. I believe that this is what is going to happen. And all the lies about the mask mandates, this is being exposed, that the masks really had no benefit. And how they shut down churches and they shut down businesses and all that. And this had been planned. The people behind it knew exactly what they were doing. The second thing is, I believe we're going to have a massive exposure of crimes against humanity. Some people involved will turn on each other. I believe that. And they will begin to realize that they're going down, and so they'll make deals and they'll begin to testify against one another. In fact, I believe this is happening right now in private. I believe many people are making deals. They're testifying. People are gathering this information. You say who? Well, some of them are patriots. Many of them are military people, but they're gathering the information. Some of them are lawyers and so on. And so this is why when people ask me about all this, how come all this is taking a long time? Well, it's not really a long time if you think about just 3 or 4 or 5 months here. It's not really a long time. A lot of the stuff that has to be exposed took many, many, many years for people to be involved in it and to plan it and this thing and that thing. And these people have been doing this for generations and generations. So to expose all of this is going to be an ongoing process. It's not just going to happen overnight, because in America, what'll happen is that Americans will see this as some kind of a coup or a revolt unless they have the proper information, and the proper information is shared with them in a proper way. And there's going to be ways they do that, I believe. All right. So this will be like a domino effect that will increase with the increased exposure, cause a shock and awe of massive traumatic effects, not just in people in America, but worldwide. People will begin to wake up. When we talk about the woke culture will begin to wake up. And people who've been duped by this stuff, people have been duped by Black Lives Matters and this racist theory and all that's going around. They're already waking up. They're mad as hatters right now. They're going to school boards and they're getting in their face and telling them, you're not going to do this to our children. In some states, they're passing laws where they're saying, you cannot teach that in our schools. Well, that's going to increase. We're just seeing the tip of the iceberg on this stuff. We have millions of people in America, hundreds of millions, have had it. Okay? They're patriots. They're born again Christians. Some of them are born again spirit-filled Christians. But all of them have had it with this. And even some who are, if I should say, more to left-leaning. We have now people, Democrats. We have people, liberals that are standing up also and saying some of this stuff is nonsense. And there's an anger because they're beginning to find out how we were lied to and what our government did to us, and we ain't seen nothing yet. And when this begins to happen, it's going to be like a domino effect, you know. And I believe they will have a hard time coming to grips with the facts and the depth of evil that some of these people are involved in. And many of their superstars, the most famous politicians, music people, media people, Hollywood people, business people that were involved in this whole thing will be literally shocking. And what they were doing, when exposed totally, will be genuinely shocking. At first, the media will begin to scream like squash cats. This is a conspiracy theory. This is the Trump people doing conspiracy theories. This is a Q thing. That whatever. They're going to say that. But the truth of the matter is that over a period of, I don't think it's going to take that long, what people call conspiracy theories, they'll find out much of this conspiracy, not all of it, because I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but much of what people call conspiracy theory will be exposed, and it will not be conspiracy. They'll find out it was true, and that's going to be shocking. It's going to be shocking to a lot of people. So we need to pray. We need to pray for our nation and around the world, because that shock and awe will be difficult and traumatic. And literally, some people will go into deep depressions. There's going to be suicides. We just need to pray, because it's not going to be easy. No matter how they expose it, it's still going to be difficult, but it has to be. Folks will find themselves, again, saying conspiracy, but then all of a sudden realizing it's not conspiracy. Already, Many, many things that have been called conspiracy, people are finding out, even the mainstream media now is reporting that it was true. The media will never be the same. Okay? Take a look at the mainstream media right now. It'll never be the same. Because I'm here to tell you, there's going to be a dismantling of much of it. And a remantling, a re-foundational mantling of the way media reports and so on. There will be eventually, I believe, strict laws concerning what is reported must be reported truthfully and on both sides without the influence of people above that are brainwashing. This will all be exposed because we have been brainwashed. The media will never be the same. Now, what's causing a lot of this is that people are on the internet. And because of the internet, this is being exposed. But it's going to be a mass exposure. A lot of the mainstream media outlets and stuff and news places will be closed down. Other people will buy them and raise them up. But there's going to be complete change. I believe there's going to be mass firing or arresting even of some of the people. Not everybody in the media is evil. They're reporting what they're told to report. But some of them do know and are behind it. And they're going to be punished. Many of the other people that are involved in it have been so influenced by leftist things. All right, that even when they're reporting on something that's true, they learn to slant it. That kind of thing is going to be dealt with. And I think we're going to have a new media that is going to be honest about both sides of what's going on as much as they possibly can. So I think at first, many of these people will strike out at Trump people or patriots. And they'll say things like, they're planning a coup, they're trying to plan a coup, and all this against this phony administration, I must say, as it's exposed and collapses right before us. Mass anger will happen, anger we have never seen, and it'll happen on both sides. However, I believe fairly quickly the anger will subside on the left. Okay, because they will begin to realize that they've been duped. And we're going to see a lot of really wild stuff, but the patriots are going to be angry. The more things that are exposed, the more their blood's going to boil, and the more you're going to hear from them. They're going to take to the streets. They're going to be the ones that are going to, surround City Hall, not in a violent way. We're not talking violence here. And I'm not trying to get anybody stirred up to do violence. But we are talking about people that are just tired of being lied about, lied to, and there's going to be such a pushback that it'll be impossible to stop them from influencing every segment of society. So this is going to be good. Again, I'm not advocating any kind of violence, though there may be some violence. I'm not advocating that. But there's going to be a lot of angry people. They lost their jobs. Some of them lost their businesses, and it all was because of this plan. So when they find out about all this, man, I mean, look out. They're going to be bold. They're going to be rebuking the woke, the Black Lives Matter movement, all of that stuff. The LBG, whatever it is, the educational system. I'm here to tell you, many politicians locally will lose their jobs, and many, even board members on, school boards and stuff will be thrown out by the people, and people will start to reclaim their schools back and stop the nonsense of all this racist, systemic racism. People are going to literally expose this. I mean, they're so angry because, nobody likes being called a racist because you're white or black or anything else. It's just all nonsense. It's the enemy trying to turn Americans against one another. And so that will be exposed. Some governors, I believe, will be removed. Some even arrested. A lot of them will lose their jobs. There's going to be a mass exodus from the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. Our politics will never be the same. Never will it be the same. The old guard will completely be dismantled. People will not want that anymore. And I don't know exactly what it'll look like, but I can tell you this, it's going to be better than it has been, because people are not going to put up with a bunch of nonsense anymore. And the voting thing, the voting fraud will be exposed. It's worse than any of us ever thought. And not only will that be exposed, our voting thing will be dealt with so that we can be assured that when we vote, our votes are counted the right way, and so on and so forth. That will be dealt with to the core, to the root. And so anyway, that's what I see. And I saw a massive change in politics again in America and around the world. This is not just America. We're talking Canada. We're talking overseas. We're talking about the European nations. Democratic socialists will lose their power. Communists will lose their power. It will become even greater today than it was before World War II, let's say, or the Cold War, where communism and socialism was an evil thing in America. I think we're coming back to that big time. And the people that are involved in the socialism and the communism, many of them will even flee the country, simply because, people are turning on that stuff, and our children that have been duped with that, they're going to wake up. Because here's another thing. At the same time this is going on, that I'm talking about, this great exposure, a massive revival, great awakening. At the same time that's happening with harvests of souls and people swept into the kingdom, and the truth begins to penetrate them about all this as we preach and teach. We're not talking about a bunch of silly, seeker-sensitive, liberal churches. Those things are going to be exposed. A lot of them are coming down. There'll always be there, some of it. But the people are going to flood good Bible-believing churches again. All right. And many people are going to get back to the basics, and they're going to see that the Word of God has the answers. So people, at the same time this will be going on, they're going to be swept into the kingdom. There's going to be a harvest, and at the same time a reformation in our country and politics, as well as our businesses, the way we do things, even church is going to be different than it used to be. And this will sweep a harvest into society, a mass, again, of democratic people leaving. This is already happening, leaving the party because they are finding out how very evil many of the people, not every Democrat is evil, but I'm talking about many of the leaders and people in their party. They knew and they planned on this, and people in the Republican Party. The old guard Republican Party, gone, baby. It's gone. And people that think that way will not even, I don't think they'll even be voted in anymore. There'll be an exposure. People will listen to people, to how they talk about, and they will know the keys when they hear it. They will know, okay, this guy is one of these. Okay, and they'll be smarter than they used to be, because they'll have to be more discerning. So I believe this, and I think this is what's going to happen. People are just going to understand how bad it is, okay? And that reality and understanding and how bad this has been for so many years is going to be hard, especially on people that have given their lives to causes they thought were good causes. And even people that were involved, many people that are involved in things like the environmental movement, they got too much. They went too far with this. And they're going to find out a lot of their leaders were doing nothing with this whole global warming thing, everything. They're going to find out that much of this, now not all of it, because some of this stuff is not global warming as much as just living in the last days, and you're going to have some weird weather. I guarantee you that. But many people are going to find out that I was duped. These people were in this for the money. These people were in this just to work their one world ideas. And a lot of people are very sincere people, and they're going to be devastated by that. They've given their lives to it. They've worked hard to try to change the environment. Well, my advice to people like that would be, don't give up. Get involved, stay involved, but do it the right way. And I'm hoping that what'll happen in that arena is that the both sides of that, the real conservative people and the people maybe that are a little bit more liberal thinking about, environment, will come together and have some answers. This is one of the things that I see. I see a unity, a new patriotic unity. I see a unity coming in churches, true churches, spirit-filled churches anyway, like we've never seen before. And I also see a unity coming back to Americans as patriots. I even see it between whites and blacks and Hispanics. I think it was there. And then when Barack Obama came in, all of a sudden all this stuff started happening. It was like all of a sudden now this racist thing has been pushed, and I think that's going to backfire on them. I think it's going to be exposed, and all of us are going to come together greater than ever before. And we can talk about these issues because there is racism in the world, but not systemic racism. And we could talk honestly about those things and have some solutions. Anyway, I believe there's going to be a new breed of preacher that's coming on the scene. I believe there's going to be a new breed of politicians that are coming on the scene. I believe there's going to be a new breed of business people that are coming on the scene, a new breed of media people coming on the scene, a new breed of doctors and lawyers and that type of thing, especially doctors, a dismantling of big pharma, an exposure of how evil, how they kept stuff back. They knew they already had cures for certain things. There'll be an explosion of divine healing across the nation at the same time. I really believe that there'll be an explosion of scientific benefit in the area of health and healing and well-being that will explode for humanity, which will be a good thing. These one world organizations, I think they're going to come down. Massive arrests will come out of that. Massive trials. Some of it will be for crimes against humanity. And maybe they'll even be televised. But great explosion of divine healing. Great medical breakthroughs. I think I mentioned that. So we're going to see all this and more. But those are the things I wanted to talk about. And I wanted to encourage you to pray about these things. Because I believe we're starting to see it. We've seen some of it. We're seeing more of it. And some of us that are really paying attention and have paid attention already know some of these things. But some people don't. But they're going to find out. And I believe what it is simply when the truth comes out, truth will overcome the error. Okay, this brainwashing, evil, error, twisted way of thinking and doing will be exposed. And people will be absolutely amazed at how simple it really was for these people to take advantage of human beings. Terrible things. It's going to be like what we found out in the Nuremberg trials and the Nazis, some of the stuff they used to do, and even worse. So, I believe we need to get prepared for that. Now, at the same time that's going on, of course, there's going to be evil, and there's going to be wild stuff happen. There's going to be, school shootings and this problem and that problem. But I believe, truthfully, abortion will be dealt with. I believe a lot of those things that were causing us to have problems like that will be stopped. Curses that came on the nation and people because of that type of activity will be stopped. So much of these things that we've seen happening will be stopped. And I think I even see people living a real long life because of the medical breakthroughs and because of what's going to be exposed. So there's many good things. Not all is it going to be good. It's going to be, we're living in the last days. People are corrupt. And so you're going to see a rise, a re-rise, but the time's not yet for the Antichrist. People, the rapture is going to happen, the Antichrist is coming. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think so. I think we have a long time, and as far as time goes, maybe 100 years. before all that happens. And I think between now and that time, we need to take all of our resources, all of our prayers, and begin to put it in as much as we possibly can to helping people, reaching out, winning souls, teaching people in Jesus' name. Till next time, this is Pastor Tom. Remember this, feed your faith, starve your doubts to death. God bless you.